Hi everyone, it's Sydney from Sydney Mar Wellness. It's the afternoon and I thought that I would celebrate Chinese New Year's with you by talking about tea time and temples. So some of the customs and family things that we did in the afternoon was actually to share tea time. But let's talk about the change of the new year. So we've been talking about the year of the fire monkey, which has been really quite fabulous, so energetic, very exuberant, very agile, very swinging from tree to tree, making sure that you're staying on your feet. And we've been letting go of that energy and bringing in the new energy of the rooster. Now the rooster is a fire rooster. It is the 10th animal in the Chinese zodiac, and that means that he's all about bringing order and having the barnyard in a particular way so that things will be collaborative, that things will be happy and bright. So this is what we can look forward to with the year of the rooster. And so when we're celebrating Chinese New Year's, which generally goes over about 10 days from the day that it starts on the new moon, which was on the Friday, Saturday of last weekend. So today I wanted to talk to you about a little bit about our tea time traditions in Chinese New Year's and throughout the year. So I wanted to, of course, everybody knows about green tea, and there's a lot of benefits to green tea. And in our family, we drank it a few different ways. We had different products like this, so we preferred to have it loose. I know that you can buy it in packages and just have the tea bags like the British do and just dip it in so that it's, 1 or 2 portions. I really prefer the loose tea. So I always kept different types of tea like this one. This is one of my favorites. It's a beautiful green tea. You can have them actually rolled up in little balls, or it can be loose or whole leaf tea, which is actually quite delicious. And then I've had this one too, which is a beautiful tea that's in a carved metal container that keeps it really fresh, so we can it just smells so good. So I've got the kettle boiling, and we're going to have a cup of tea and talk about some of the customs. Then one of my other ones was this one actually that came from Japan, but it is a beautiful green tea that I also loved. And again, it has a little, because it's a paper container, has a little top on it. Smells so good, and this is what it looks like when it's loose. So you can take a look-see at how beautiful and fragrant the wonderful teas can be. My family also enjoyed drinking jasmine tea, and jasmine is really where they have a lot of the flowers, and it's a little white flower and it's quite fragrant, and I think that's what everyone loved about adding jasmine tea or jasmine flowers to their tea, because it was just a soft, fragrant, lovely scent that was just so aromatic. So my father also really loved ginseng tea, and ginseng tea is known as something that fortifies your energy, something that is truly good for your vitality. It gives you great energy. And when we think about the mix of green tea and maybe ginseng tea, there are so many great health benefits. It talks about in green tea that you can have a reduced shall we say, reduced evidence or reduced probability of maybe having cancer. It's really good for your digestive system. It's very good for boosting your immune system. It's also good for regulating your metabolism. And what does that mean? That means that it's good for weight loss. So when we're having our Chinese meals and we're drinking, as I would say to my mother, copious amounts of green tea, it would be just also great for, you have a little bite and then you have a little sip of tea. You have another bite, you have another sip of tea. And there are a number of different customs that perhaps you don't know about when you're at the Chinese table. And let's say that you're having a bite and someone serves you something. There is a way of saying thank you with your mouth full. So I'm just going to borrow my little tray over here to use it as my pretend table. So let's say that we're being served something, and we have our cup of tea here, and someone has served us tea, but let's say that our mouth is full. We don't want to speak with our mouth full. So what do? We take our fingers, 2 fingers like this, and you go tap, tap. What does that mean? That's like umgoy. Umgoy means thank you. So if you're ever caught at the table and you want to say thank you to someone who served you something, but your mouth is full and you don't want to say, open up your mouth, you just go, take your 2 fingers, go tap, tap, and you're saying thank you. So it's a very fun, gracious way of being able to say thank you without actually having to speak the words. So that is also one of the things we would do here. Also, I wanted to mention to you about the temples. And so in my family, what we used to do is actually, as we were serving tea in the afternoon, and my cousins would call it yum cha, or if it wasn't yum cha, it was dim sum. And oh, I see Dennis. Dennis, hello, hi, hun, how are you? How many times have you enjoyed a beautiful dim sum on in Chinatown with our family? So many times, so wonderful, so fabulous. So of course we're going to have great green tea. It's great for your digestion, and we go for a yum cha. But what we would also do is make a plate for our ancestors. We've been talking a lot about, our ancestral blessings and how do we enjoy that. And so we would do something like make a serving of oranges and just put it to the side. Maybe we would pour a cup of tea and just put it to the side. Everything that we were eating would be put on a plate. Maybe there would be a bit of fish. Maybe it would be one of the beautiful little dim sums that would come with it. And it would be so much fun because this is a way for us to acknowledge the blessings of our ancestors by including them in our meals. So for perhaps a small plate of oranges would represent that, and we would just keep adding certain things. Maybe it would be a sweet, maybe it would be a piece of chicken or something like that. Yes, Dennis, Happy New Year to you too. So many blessings to look forward to. And when we're having our beautiful tea, we might also, here, I'm going to pour a cup of tea here. Isn't this lovely? And tea, just for you to know, should be served at, or should be steeped for 30 seconds to 3 minutes. And the reason we don't really want it any longer is because it's going to be too dark. If it's too dark or steeped too long, what's going to happen? Too many tannins are going to come out. So can you take a peek here? This is really a good color. So you might not want to steep it for too long. Yeah, Dennis, I miss you too, and I'm waiting for you to drag my cousin here so that we can have a lovely meal and share some good tea times together. So let me take a sip of tea. So good. Beautiful green tea. So good for your health. And what do we do at tea time? We also have cookies. So I'm going to put that down for a moment, but what happens when you're so many people at the table and you've run out of hot water in your tea? So this is one of our other traditions that we do, and I'm just going to show you by flipping it over. Here's my pot of tea. I've turned the top over. Why have I done that? Because that signals to the waiters to please come over and fill up our water again, because we have more people to serve tea to. So this is one of the ways you can indicate to the wonderful people who are helping bring wonderful yummies to you at dim sum. And this is a way you can make sure that your pot of tea is full and that you can keep serving tea so you can have great digestion during tea time. And one of the things that I wanted to bring to show you this afternoon was also this beautiful vintage bottle of plum wine. This is something that I've kept from my family home, and it was it's very, very strong. So do be careful if anyone ever offers you plum wine. It's going to be something like this. Yes, you're gonna have to put your seatbelt on if you're gonna have plum wine. It's really as strong as tequila, so it could be like 30 or 40%. I don't know exactly because these are all Chinese characters, but I do know that you really do need to be very careful if you're going to be enjoying the pleasure of having or being offered some plum wine. But isn't this a beautiful vintage bottle? I just love it. It's just so pretty, and it really reminds me of, my family and all of those wonderful times together. So I thought that I would share with you this beautiful bottle of plum wine that I have saved the bottle after all, so that we can have our wonderful celebrations together. So what does it mean, having welcoming into our lives, tea, the green teas, which are so good for your health benefits, boosts your immune system. It's great for your digestion. It's great for your, actually it's great for arthritis as well. And it is also good for making sure that everything works well in your system. So what a great way of being able to welcome in health into your life with this new year by having green tea. And we don't put anything in it. We don't put sugar. We don't put honey. We just actually have tea as it is. And I just really love it. It's so good for you. And you know that as you're eating these beautiful, delicious things and at tea time, that it's going to be able to digest better. And there was another funny thing that I wanted to talk to you about with Chinese New Year's and the way, what our customs are all about. What do we do and what do we look forward to? Is that, you know, when the dishes come to your table, that they're normally all of the pieces of vegetables, all the pieces of beef, they're all cut very small. Why are they cut very small? And I used to ask my dad, like, Dad, why don't we, you know, eat like the other people, why, like the Caucasians? Why don't we have a knife and fork? And we have, of course, chopsticks. So he says, in our culture, the reason we have our bamboo or our ivory chopsticks together at the table is because a knife is not allowed at the table. And why isn't a knife allowed at the table? It's not allowed because it was in my father's words, and I'm just repeating what he told me, but it is part of our family tradition and many of the Asian families around the world, is that it's considered a little bit barbaric to bring a knife to the table. So all of the preparation would be done in the kitchen so that when the food was served, it was just really for enjoying and eating. And that's why we would cut it into bite-sized morsel pieces, so that all we had to do was with our chopsticks was to be enjoying those pieces, those delicious pieces of seafood or vegetables or rice or whatever was brought to the table, so that there really were in bite-sized pieces. So this is really an interesting fact. And now my father also, I'm going to show you some of the other tea types that he had, he enjoyed. This is one of his ginger teas, which is also very good for your health. And you know that as a spice, we often use ginger in our cooking. It's so good for your digestive system as well. So this is how he would also have it if he didn't want to have the tea that was loose. Maybe he just wanted to make one serving. So, I mean, I still prefer to have loose tea leaves in my pot instead of having the packages. But I have a feeling that my mom and dad, maybe dad wanted to have ginseng tea, you know, like this one here is imperial ginseng, which was also very good for your vitality, and maybe mom preferred to have green tea. So maybe that's why they started buying these ones as well at home. This one here is a little Korean tea, which is actually quite different tasting than some of the other ones. So I'm going to suggest that if you're interested in it, maybe you want to try a mixed bag of teas where you can buy them and you can buy different flavors, so you can try them all out. Or maybe if you're going to be buying a loose tea and a green tea, maybe buy a smaller package so that you can have the opportunity of having a beautiful tea wardrobe, as they say, in your kitchen, so that whatever the occasion is, you can really enjoy. And so talking about ginseng and the benefits for fortifying and your immune systems, I also, in my product line of wellness, I have something that so many people have been asking me about, and this is where we use ginseng. This one happens to be called Focus Right Now. It's for ADD. It's for the way your mind works. It's for your digestion. It's for your immune system. And what's really interesting about this, and one of the reasons we depend on ginseng in it, we happen to use Panax ginseng. And the reason we do that is because it really boosts your system. It really works with your cognitive memory. It helps you focus. And this is one of the reasons when we're thinking about the holistic body, not only do we want to be beautiful, do we want to be smart, do we want to be robust, this is one of the products that we would depend on if you need all of your smarts around you. Maybe you've got a project to finish, maybe you need a school package that you just need to keep going at, and this is one of the reasons why Focus Right Now is one of the products that I've developed together with my manufacturing team to bring in the beautiful product the beautiful, shall we say, benefits of ginseng. So you can see that there's many reasons why we'd want to look to the herbs to fortify our health. I'm going to have a little sip of tea because it's nice and hot, and I've brewed it just for you. Yum. And this is what's so much fun because as I mentioned to you in one of my live videos the other day, is that my grandfather, who came from China, from Canton at the turn of the century, he actually was a medical herbalist before he left China. And so all of these wonderful herbs was what he was looking to bring into to help people get healthier. My father loved learning from my grandfather, who, when he came here, you know, he still practiced, you know, being a medical herbalist. But what was his main work here? He was a Chinese Presbyterian missionary, and he came to help the people with all of the things that they were doing in the world, and helping them bring, you know, health and spirituality to their lives. So there's many reasons why I think that I'm following in my family's footsteps. And these were some of the things I wanted to share with you. And as I have done every day, I've shared with you what does the fortune cookie have to say. So today we're going to look into our fortune cookies and say, what is the wisdom of the fortune cookie in today's celebration? So let's see, what did we pull today? Let me turn it around because it's French on one side because I'm here in Quebec. So it says, you should be able to undertake and complete anything. And maybe that's speaking to not only the year of the fire rooster, but it is also speaking to if you take the time to stop and have your cup of tea, which is going to fortify your health, either your green tea or maybe ginseng or something wonderful that you've brought into your family home, you're going to be able to undertake anything and complete the projects you have at hand by making sure that your health is wonderful. So I'm going to love you and leave you. I hope you have a beautiful afternoon. This is day 4 of my Chinese New Year celebrations. Bye for now. See you tomorrow afternoon.